You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want. Unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherland's calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.
Yes, I mean, hello. Una, good evening. I salute all man, saluting for all una. Una come on board, una join the Pan-African Daily, una come on. But I want to start by greeting and saluting all those that were already waiting in the lobby room. You know, this is the first time that I discovered this application, and Tumi was busy saying, "Hey, look at what Sister Cheryl is writing." Then I said, "But wait a minute, we're still not live. She cannot be writing." She said, "Of course, she's been in, and she is writing something very sweet for Pat TV, Pan African Daily." Then I went in, then I saw Paul. Brother Paul was already in. Then I saw NS Parker was already chatting and connecting with Cheryl. NS, look, you cannot get to Cheryl without me. Let me just tell you that, okay? Cheryl is our own, is the woman on the team with Sign Over. All of you, before you touch any of my queens, please make sure you get to me. You know it. And I don't like when you flirt with my queens out there without my permission. You know the rules on the Pan African Daily, okay? Good. Yeah, I'm so happy. Damian is here, you're a witness. And then Mr. Flanders is going to join us in a couple of seconds. He already was there, but his internet is not really acting up well. But he's going to join us on this conversation. As you all know, today is another step two into the Pan-African Premier League competitions, sports competitions, or sports tourism, or sport and entertainment, or sport and engagement, or sport and unity, sport and everything that we want to talk about. Okay. We said it, this is going to be our first event on the Pan-African Daily TV. We knew yesterday when Baba Small came live and said, be a better version of the Africa more than yesterday. And so Pan-African Daily TV, you saw how he actually, yes, he actually engaged in us and was, so proud of our work and said there is no media. Of course, there are voices out there, but the platform that is making the vibe, and you know what, is the Pan-African Daily TV because of all of you, because all of us are bringing our investment, our engagement, our work, our stamina, right, on the platform. And now, because of our work, our commitment, now we see our young, smart brothers coming up to say, yes, we have been seeing the work that you're doing, and we're ready to move. We're ready to work now. The diaspora has something to put on the table. The diaspora is the solution for the unity on the continent and Africans worldwide. And you see these two handsome brothers here. Look at Brother Flanders, looking so cute, so young. Brother Damian also, we love you all. We love your engagement. We love the spirit and the vision that you're bringing to connect us worldwide through sports and events and entertainment and a lot of money making business into this venture right here. Good. So I want to thank all of you that are joining and connecting, whether you're connecting from the continent or in the diaspora, wherever you are on the space, please make sure you click this link and share and invite one another. Remember what we said. Yes, we are 300, I think closer to 300 subscribers tonight to hit 50,000 in just half a year. 50,000, you can imagine. We started the campaign 1 million subscribers on the YouTube channel just a couple of months ago. And we know that we've been viewed all across the continent, more than 1 million views in just a short while. Though we are the youngest media, and the youngest market connecting the diaspora and the continent, but we are the fastest growing. I bet you on this. And that's why you see our brothers are so proud of our work and they say, okay, let's go. We have a venture, we have a continent to build, we have the unity to put out there, but we have a lot of money to make for ourselves. Okay. And that's what it becomes very, very interesting because remember, we're talking about football. If you look at the whole French Liga, it's all black. There is nothing in terms of sport and entertainment that when your face doesn't show on it, I mean, the black face makes sense. Nothing doesn't make no sense, whether it's purple or green or mixed, in as much as the melanated or the descendants or the mixed are not into it. It doesn't make any sense because the vibes and the vibration that we bring is very different. So then imagine if we have to do this among us. You can imagine the entertainment. You can imagine the talent. You can imagine the know-how, the skills, the tourism, the impact into it, the dance, the fashion, the costumes, the everything. Wow. So 2022, like Baba Small said yesterday, is going to be that year where we're taking the actions further. We're going to make a lot of money from ourselves. We're bringing our impact on the table. So each and every one of you, be ready for Flanders this year. Who is going to tell us exactly how the investment plan looks like? I already know a lot of people that were already so excited, like, oh my God, I want to be a part of this venture. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what we've been looking for, because you all know sport is something that brings not just the unity and the connectivity, but also the money. Okay, a lot of merchandising, sports stadiums, like Brother Damian was saying, cities, whatever, right? So I hope all of you are connected and you're settled. I'm back to the studio to greet my honorable guest today, Sam, and we're going to be continuing this series. I want to start with Brother Flanders. Can you hear me out there? Hello?
Yes, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us on the PAT TV, Pan-African Daily TV, is the voices of Africans worldwide. We connect the continent and the diaspora and bring skills on the table for a one Africa for Africans worldwide. So you're welcome on the Pan-African Daily today. We hope you are going to bring a lot of soup into what we're already cooking. We saw your big vision for a united Africa solution, and I slapped that poster of you out there. Boy, do you know what? I mean, it was so responsive, like everybody was like, yes, this is what we're for. So, Brother Damian, how are you? How did you get to meet Flanders, and how did you guys cook up all this whole thing?
Well, we are childhood friends growing up. Brother Flanders' brother is actually my best friend. So Flanders is actually a brother to me more than a friend. You understand? So, and I was about 5 years old. Flanders was like 2. I remember his older brother Damian. We used to be holding his hand, walking him to the his kindergarten, which wasn't too far from our primary school. So there's a lot of history with us, and we've been true to each other. We never try to outscam each other and stuff. It's just one love. And Brother Flanders have a wealth of knowledge, and he's a good guy, and he's actually a God-fearing person. So he brings a lot to the table. So it's an honor just having him on board with us right now.
Beautiful. So I think I just greet the audience a little bit. I see them already queuing up, and yes, everyone is saying nice one. El Haji, thank you, connecting from Israel all the way. And all of you that are connecting from so far, we are not forgetting you. That's part of the family that you're seeing here, Flanders. We have the exclusive guests that are you people. I'm the host and founder and the technical team here, and a lot of viewers connecting, and those in the chat room, they'll be throwing out probably questions that I'll bring out for you if there's something to answer, right? And so we're a whole global family for the Africa we want. So let us go into the conversation tonight. What is all this vision about? Your vision and taking sports as one of the primary aspects that could unite Africans worldwide into something unique. Flanders?
Okay, first of all, let me say thank you, Dr. Suzanne, for your gracious welcome on this platform. All right. I also want to say a huge shout out to the African community when it comes to the current uh, tournament going on, the great work that's happening in Cameroon. In
Yes.
fact, I have a connection there, a particular individual working in the community in Cameroon and in other connections in Africa, and he's actually directly involved in the tournament as well. So I just want to send a huge shout out to Martha Kuta, Cornelius Kuta. If he's hearing me on this call, I hope he's on the call. I sent out the link to him. All right, and next, let me just say first of all, thanks to Damian for inviting me on this call to be a part of this conversation as well. You know, it was back in 2000 and early last year, I think it was. We started to really engage in the conversation, but before that, we always kept in touch once in a while, and I knew that Prescod was always committed to the vision of sports, particularly in communities. All right. Just to give a bit of a history between us, as you mentioned, we grew up in the same community. And I remember when himself, my brothers used to play football in our local community. And that was my first foray with sports. You know, I grew up loving sports from primarily football because that's the number one sport in our country, but also cricket, tennis, Olympics, anything to do with sports, I've always had a passion for. All right. And so, in terms of us connecting, what I would say is that, you know, from looking on, from being a young person in the community, remembering that feeling of being connected with the players and the fans and how the community came together to really, not just for entertainment, but to discover talent, I always remember that going forward. All right. In fact, one of the things I remember was when my brother, very talented, he was a goalkeeper and he also used to play as a striker. And I remember when he had a couple of people came to look at him because they were interested in probably having him join the national team. And so because of one little slight fault they probably saw, they didn't choose him. All right. And you know, that little experience always stayed with me because, you know, I think about a lot of talent out there that is actually missing out on opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so when I connected with Prescod last year and really started to listen to his heart concerning this vision, it connected with all that I was doing, honestly, and all of my personal vision. So that's how we came together and said, you know what, let's put the efforts together and do something serious. And that's how we started this whole thing. All right. Now, to kind of paint a broader picture to understand what the vision is, essentially what we're looking to do is to build a platform that will allow anyone from communities that will typically be called disadvantaged to be able to leverage this platform so that they could build upon their talent and their own efforts. Essentially, if we think about communities, whether it's in the Caribbean, whether it's in Brazil, South America, Latin America, Africa, Asia, wherever it is, the thing about it is for you to get from the bottom up to the top, you are one in thousands, 10 of thousands, or even millions that make it. If we think about Didier Drogba, Samuel Eto'o, all right?
Mm-hmm.
You think about Dwight York from our country, Trinidad and Tobago. And Dwight York used to play football on the beaches in Tobago, where we are from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because someone saw his talent that, you know, eventually he was able to move up, you know, through the school system and then eventually to the national team. and on to the big clubs with Manchester United eventually. First was Aston Villa, and that type of experience. But how many young people are missing out on that opportunity? So what we are saying is, how about if we could change that? How about if we could actually cut out a lot of the middlemen, a lot of the red tape, a lot of the government bureaucracy, a lot of the you say corruption, right? And get directly to the people where funding could help them to self-organize, and so therefore get to a point where they could actually create. All right. And from that, we're going to discover talent in a much faster way, in a more equitable way, so that then we could have more, a faster turnover, a more throughput of talent coming through. All right. Just this morning, for example, I was speaking to Martha from Cameroon, and he was sharing with me a video of a young man that is available for to actually join a club, whether it's in the Caribbean or wherever it is. And he was showing me this talent. And I was saying, you know, if that young man was part of the system that we are building, much more people will be exposed to his talent.
Absolutely.
So therefore, if I know, you know, I like this young man, I like his poise, I like his mentality, and I like his talent, I could more directly fund him. Right? So what we are doing is we have a concept, and the concept is, let's say, you know, we have an event in Cameroon. I'll just use Cameroon as a point of reference for Africa. All right. And this community traditionally does not have the financial support to take forward, to host this event and to have meaningful experiences with regards to sport. All right. What we are looking to do is to create a global community where people could contribute, they could actually register, and by their involvement, they're going to register with whatever their capital is. Now, different folks will have different levels of capital they could introduce to this project. All right. So last week, Prescod spoke about, if it is you have $1, you could be a part of it. At the end of the day, it's what we are saying is, wherever you are at, you could get involved, and this platform will recognize the amount that you are actually getting involved with. And then what will happen is, essentially, that's going to give you a certain level of voting rights and privileges on the platform.
Correct.
Then what's going to happen is there's going to be a pool of resources from this global participant community, and that is going to then create the prize funds for our sporting initiatives. So what's going to happen is we're going to have a number of opportunities where you could actually tap into this community, host a sporting event, and have the capital to support it, right? What's going to happen is, by you registering, what we're aiming to do is that you will be able to benefit a number of ways as a participant. So first of all, let's say you have $100 and you decide to participate in this. What will happen is, one of the goals of the platform will allow you to actually generate interest while you have your money in this platform. So even if you don't do anything else, all right, you just simply have it on the platform, your money should be able to grow. That's the first thing, right? Secondly, the next goal will be for you to get involved in the events. So let's say there's an event in Cameroon and you are interested in this event. That event is going to have a certain amount of funds allocated towards it. So let's say it's a football event and there are two teams. All right. Traditionally, these two teams may not get funding from the government or that type of stuff. Our platform will provide a certain level of funding for these two teams for that event. All right. Now the aim is, not to say that this is the final thing, but we are just using the hypothetical. Let's say for these two teams, 60% of the fund for that particular event is going to be allocated towards the teams. So there's going to be, the winner is going to get a higher purse, and the next team will get a purse, but not as high as the winner, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the community is going to get 40% of that prize pool. So let's say, Dr. Susan, you're supporting this event, and you say, you know what, I want to actually back Team Green. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Because Team Green won that competition, you get a return because you were part of the winning team in terms of backing that winning team. So what's going to happen is you are now participating in several events at the community level, and you are supporting them. And by supporting them, you're getting rewarded. Right? Now, in the traditional sense, you might wonder, how is that going to play off? Because to implement such a thing on a global scale is going to require a lot of coordination and a lot of moving parts. And this is where we are going to actually be using blockchain technology to implement it. So this is where the whole cryptocurrency experience and that aspect of things is going to be a major part of this whole thing. Now, to kind of give you a bit of my background, I'm a software developer by profession. So I've been involved. First of all, I have a company vision, and that is in the area of business and software development. And then I connected with a community of people who are impacting the world when it comes to education, in the financial space, in cryptocurrencies, and in other high income generating markets. So what is happening is we have a mission to educate, empower, and enrich people all around the world. Actually, we have a target of 1 million people, and we have over 500,000 people worldwide that are actually already involved in this particular initiative. And so by being involved in that community, that has really crystallized some of the aspects of what we want to do. So just in a nutshell, this project with Damian Prescod, with the Empire of Dreams mission, is really going to be a community-driven project that's going to scale on a global level. Where Africa comes in is Africa has a tremendous opportunity to take first movers advantage and really own this space, right? So whether other communities come on board, whether it's Asia, Latin America, the Caribbean, because you have a tremendous thing going on with your community, and we have this connection. What we are saying is our mission is to kind of start to share this vision and put together a community that could then start to be up to date on these latest developments, so that when we go to the next level of participation, people will be ready to jump on board. Yeah, so that's kind of in a summary nutshell. I know it's a bit, but it's definitely in a nutshell in terms of all that we're working on right now with this project.
Coming from a non-sport sport background, it looks a little bit kind of like complicated. The first time Damian was here last week, I got questions upon questions from the community. Oh, did you really understand what it's all about? Or could you really just break it down to me? I want to understand. So the issue is, and I like, oh, me too. I'm waiting for the next session to get on board. So I'm happy because it's starting from zero, from ground zero, where all of us can grow into the concept to understand the basic. It's not like something that already was put on and then you're bringing it to us. You're really walking us, from the community. Like we say, it's a grassroots movement thing.
Yes.
So just to get a little bit of clarity, so you get talent from each community. The community, for instance, put out a talent that they see is good in any sport discipline, and they want, and anyone can invest in that talent. It doesn't matter whether this talent comes from Ghana and I am from Cameroon and I see that talent in that community is good. And I said, oh, I want to put money in this talent, or I want to support this talent. Am I correct?
You're correct. Yes.
Okay, fine. So that's the first point. Number two, so it is not going to be like we have a particular team that is from Cameroon, a team that is from Ghana, a team from Tobago, Trinidad Tobago, a team from the. It is just the talent that form one team. Is it correct?
So the good thing about it is the platform that we are going to do is going to facilitate different levels of participation. So what we're saying is, whether it's a small community thing or even a global or a regional event, the platform will be able to facilitate that. So you have scalability across the board. And the reason why you want that is because you want to have a talent discovery mechanism, and you want to have a seamless way to transition that talent into higher levels of sporting achievement and sporting participation. Basically, this platform is supposed to allow us, if we take away all the technical stuff I spoke about earlier, and we just think about what we are looking to accomplish. One of the things Damian articulated last week was, let's say you had the opportunity to invest in a LeBron James before he became LeBron James. All right? What will that have looked like? Well, when LeBron James was in high school, the attention already got to him. All right? But that's because of the unique media that we have in the United States. Right? His talent was tracked at the high school level. So the thing about it is, let's say before the media got on to LeBron James, people will have known about him. But how you and I will have known about him, we will not have known about him. So on this platform, because you and I registered on this platform through our own, we put our money where our mouth is, and we register with our money, we now have access to these talents. Because let's say LeBron James' coach participated on this platform and said, we're gonna host an event in Akron. We're gonna host an event in Akron, and it's a school event. Nobody knows about us, but we are gonna get funding through this platform. I will have known about LeBron James because I'm on the platform, right? So then I may have seen some highlight or something because of the platform. I now say, you know what? I want to actually participate in that event, and I'm backing his team. So what's going to happen is the team wins. The team gets a reward for it, a financial reward that they will not have gotten before, right? What happens is, basically, that reward, and obviously will be managed by that team and their organization. LeBron James is going to get some kind of financial return because of being a part of that team. So he's still getting some kind of return because that he will not have gotten before, right? No strings attached. He has no obligations, no contracts, nothing like that. Then what happens is, by him participating on the platform, people are going to start recognizing his talent besides the team. That is going to then allow people, the platform is then going to allow people to then invest in the individual. So now, besides his team going on road trips, if you think about AFCON in the United States, AFCON was a street community type of culture that built from the ground up, right? And the brand eventually came about, and only after they built the brand, they were able to then get monetary reward from that, right? What we are saying is, because of blockchain, because of cryptocurrencies, the reverse is possible, where the tokenomics or the economics of cryptocurrency allows you to cast the vision, get the community behind that vision, and then together we do it. So that's where the early people who adopt this idea are going to get the best rewards out of it. So that's why you're being first movers in terms of being aware can actually be like, you know, like the primary investors kind of thing. But it's not going to be limited to only this community. It's going to be available around the world. And whoever decides to take it up the most is going to reap the most rewards. So I hope it's getting a bit clearer, but the questioning will help clarify.
Mm. It is. It is. I'm laughing because sometimes when we see these things happen and everybody's just like, particularly the audience, we actually don't understand the mathematics or the science and technology, of course, but the science that is involved is kind of like what we think should be teachable, exactly like what you're saying.
Yes.
So I think, yes, it's a particularly the question that I asked, because remember, we don't want this kind of a concept where, you know, you have some particular individuals and they come up with a plan and then everybody has to dance to it. The first thing that we love about this vision of Damian and you is that it's a community thing. Number two is identifying the talents that we have in our community, Africa, or around our African communities around the world, which is the most marginalized, and we don't actually put really our money where our mouth is or where our talent is. Then number three, that Pan-African aspect of, like I asked before. So it doesn't mean because I'm Cameroonian, I would have to invest, but of course I can. But I could also do it to a talent that I see, oh, the community is really doing something great. We have to engage in this youth or in this personality that is bringing something to the table that could be that brand and that face of the engagement. So the Pan-African spirit into it is already something that we identified last week, and that was unique. Then the last thing, which is one of our biggest thing on the Pan-African Daily, is the connection and the unity.
Right.
And getting access into this platform, which is a global platform, in a nutshell, is just connecting and uniting us worldwide. And that's one of our biggest mission, to connect and unite Africans worldwide through any sort of event that is, you know, for Africans, by Africans, of course.
Yes.
So, yes, I think we are all into it. If there are questions that will be out here, we'll be putting out that question. But like I said, yes, probably we'll bring in Damian to give a little bit of support to that vision which he started, and you know, we see the way forward.
Yes.
A shout out actually to AFCON. Like we're saying, we are on the series of AFCON. That's why we're bringing the alternatives also. Even though we know that the mega sport event on the continent is taking place right now. We've been talking about it last week, you know, the teams that have been playing and the qualifications and getting into the second groups and the second teams who also dwell on that next week when we get the plan and who has been winning. Our correspondent is going to come up to talk about that just for information. But of course, the topic today is getting this alternative. How could we use this kind of incredible talent that is in the young people and Africans worldwide to be a spotlight, creating a Pan-African soccer or sport Premier Liga, just like we see the Bundesliga or the English French Liga and stuff like that? How could we take this kind of grassroots movement and be able to do something that is so unique? Thank you, Damian, for being on board now. Damian, you listen to your brother or your small brother Flanders, or your dream partner, and whatever, the best friend that you have that we're getting to know and getting to have also. Do you align, or what is it that you want to add?
Yeah, pleasant good evening to everybody, to the African continent, you, Dr. Susan, and the diaspora, and also to the wider world. All right. What Flanders was really saying in a nutshell is really communicating and networking. So as we go forward, you know, investment is good, and we need a platform to communicate. But Flanders is the brain man behind the technology, so that's his field. But you ask a question, and it's really, as I say, the teams is coming out from the community, from various communities within Africa. Because you ask if it will be one team from Trinidad and like Trinidad and Tobago, Ghana, Cameroon, and we make up one team. But no, it's not. It will be from different various communities from, let's say, from the CONCACAF region, which is Trinidad and Tobago, the US, all of them make up the CONCACAF region, and the Central America. Then is the continent of Africa. They make up the global Africa. And off of that now, everyone will play, come from their community, they're going to be playing to become number one. So various communities will be challenging each other. The best of the best will represent their country. So let me say from Cameroon, you will get the best team coming out from Cameroon, which is the champion of champion from the community. But that is not discarding the community that exists in the league that we already start, because the main league is really in the community. And we'll keep that going because that is also to get the talent. So a lot of talent will be coming out from the communities. And that is like the pool. So the platform now, what Flanders was talking about, is where everybody will see the talent. And basically, in identifying the talent, you'll identify the stats of the player and stuff. So just like a FIFA video game, a player might have, let me say, 75, a player might have 65. So this platform, you'll be able to vote on the player's talent. So you might like a player, you would watch to see if he has all the attributes that you are looking for. And then you can say, you can make an informative decision now in voting on this player. So as I say, even if it's $1, $2, $3, so every dollar that you put, as Mr. Flanders was saying, it will be recognized and you will gain interest because you will become a shareholder within the community. And also, if you're from Cameroon, you can also, on the platform, you can see a player in Nigeria, the Super Eagles, and you can actually support that player brand also and become a part of that brand because it's a free something for the African diaspora and also on the continent. Now, the global initiative now is Asia, Europe, and the CONCACAF and so forth. If you want to be the best in the world, you have to play the best. So although, yes, we on the African continent, we bring in something unique, or we're using sports as a way out to get guys out of, as people listen, the ghetto, to get you out of the ghetto, to get some money in your financially stable, in other words. And it will also help in developing your communities. So it will bring out young entrepreneurs. So everybody will be going through the platform. And by using the platform, everybody will get a percentage of their earnings. If it's $1, everything will grow. It will get interest on it and you'll be able to function as it goes on. So in other words, in a nutshell, as Mr. Flanders was saying, you're leaving something for your next generation. Because it's not that to say you're gambling. You just put $1 in there and that's it, and you turn your back and you never see it again. So it comes like you just sponsor a team or sponsor a player. And that's why he used the term, and it's his term that I used the last time. If you had the opportunity to invest in LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Samuel Eto'o or even Roger Miller of Cameroon, because Roger Miller, who started this ball rolling, because people only identified African talent when Argentina, with the deceased Diego Maradona, they played against Roger Miller and Cameroon, and they actually lost to Cameroon. And that was a total shocker. And you know, the swag in Africans, as Roger Miller started dance, and you see it all over. Now you're seeing it in Brazil, you're seeing it all over. Everybody score a goal now. You had to have some kind of celebration. Exactly. Do like a jump in the air, and then he come down with a scissors. You understand? Some players skate on the back, some backflip. So it's all about identifying talent, and it will also take out a strain off of the government purse. And the government of the country will be able to invest in the player, and the government will reap the reward also, because the government now could invest in a player and also make back a percentage on the player. And that percentage the government make on the player can go towards our other child in bringing up another child out of the system. And we're dealing with all sports, as I say, it's one logo across the board. So if we're in a community in Cameroon, Let's say we're using a bull or we're using a lion. The footballers would be using it. The runners would be using it. The swimming team, everybody. So it's one logo. When to identify that also, we're looking at talent. So the musicians coming out, they're going to be part of the team also because they will be the entertainment aspect. So young talents now, you can get your tape, you can go on the platform, you can showcase your talent, and you can help you get contracts, even self in music and in the industry and so forth. So it's all about bringing forth talent. You understand? Because God gave everybody a gift, and everybody have a unique gift. Same thing like as I say, your fingerprint. No two fingerprints alike. You understand? So your talent is unique, and it's all about finding talent. And I think the confusion is in various communities across Africa and across in many countries where killing is involved. I think people lose themselves because they say a person who has nothing to gain is the most dangerous enemy you would come across. But if I love football and I love sports and I love entertainment, I love music, I love art and whatnot, and I live in for this, I don't want to go in jail, because going in jail means that it will take away my time when I supposed to be in the lab, you know what I mean, practicing my craft for a brighter audience, which is the world, and bringing forth what God have manifested in me. And to sit down behind bars, trapped in a cell, my colors are much too bright to be in a cage. And I'm sure many youngsters will agree. So I don't know if that answers some of the questions, but and coming forward, when we have these teams coming out from Argentina, from Africa, Ghana, Cameroon, and whatnot, now we would be able to play against other nations, other countries, and then now we can say, okay, who is the best? So it becomes the champions of champions. And then we could bring forth a team who could rival Barcelona, prime Barcelona. We could rival PSG. You understand what I'm saying? Because now we have the finance to do it. Because most teams from Africa, they cannot even fund themselves just to go into another community.
Correct.
You understand? So now you can hop on a plane, you can stay in the most expensive hotel, a 5-star hotel. If it have 8-star, you can stay in the 8-star hotel. You'll be able to pay the players' financial needs, meet your needs as a coach. The team and the organization itself will be able to, as I say, with the sports tourism and sports city. So every nation can have a sports city, and where the media dedicated to sports, that just like how Pan Africa dedicated this segment to sports, you will have the Pan Africa coming out from Cameroon, Pan Africa coming out from Nigeria, and so forth, where we dedicated sports and a way of life, where we're talking about issues affecting the global continent and so forth. Yeah.
Absolute. I think it's yes, we do understand, even the audience. We heard from Ibokun saying there's a lot of talents out there not yet open for opportunities really to transform lives and businesses. This cut across all areas of development by our honorable brother Tremayne Flanders. Thanks so very much for that initiative. Yes, you see, it's exactly what we're talking about here. I wanted to actually put up, we were working on putting up a collection of the talent, some of the talents that really caught our attention in terms of sport. You could see local people in the village, or a woman that was so famous on, tapping, these kind of things that even famous footballers cannot do. And she could do it even tying a loin. But unfortunately, we could not load that video because of the copyright infringement. But we're going to work it out so that by next conversation next week, when you guys come on this very topic, we can show some of that talent that we're talking about that needs this kind of attention and investment. Yes. But what I was saying is exactly what you said. You talk about talent, and for me, it was like getting a player from each country that. But what you're saying is the teams are going to be from the different communities across.
Across, correct.
Okay. Beautiful.
So yeah, definitely. So it's just the more the platform is just to identify the talent and just to put money towards their brand, to invest in their brand. So by investing in their brand, you will gain. As their brand grow, you're gonna grow also. So everybody's from on the ground up. You understand? So it's building the platform and then heading to the stars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, good. I mean, it is very interesting. And when are we starting is always the question. I know that we're in the
Yeah.
conception phase. I wanted to ask, yes, Flanders, to ask Flanders, when you look at the competition going on in Cameroon, the AFCON and the global competition, how much investment do you think that when you look at a global mega competition like that that has been going on for, this is a 33rd edition, of AFCON. What is your impression when you look at the whole a competition and and the event at itself?
Well, are you hearing me clearly?
Yes.
Well, first of all, I must say that for me, over the years, looking at that particular competition, I could see that essentially they have been improving. They have been improving in that regard. But you could just switch it up in terms of in 2021. I believe the budget was about 5 million US dollars, right? For AFCON, African Cup of Nations 2021, right?
Hmm. Yes.
Um, so I mean, with what we are going to do, that figure, I mean, I believe definitely the platform, the concept that we're going to do is going to be able to exceed that.
Hmm.
Because first of all, the funding is coming from African nations. So whoever is the host, I believe probably in association with external partners, may come up with that budget. But in our scenario, we are talking about anyone in the world being able to contribute to this and getting a return.
Yes.
So because of that more open opportunity, you can get way more funding than 5 million US dollars for the event. So, and what I want to iterate on this call, because in the call last week, it was more about the broader vision, the benefits that could come if this comes into fruition. Really and truly, what I want to stress on this call is more of how it could happen. Because you see, when you cast a vision, yes, it sounds good, but when you see the specifics of how it could happen and the technical aspects, then you see how it's going to happen. And
Absolutely.
that gives more confidence for people to say, you know what, these guys know what they're doing, I could put my money behind it. Right? So the thing that I think we should stress on, particularly with this particular aspect, is that everything that we talk about in terms of teams playing each other and talent being discovered and being able to affect the community and even probably move away from just sports into music and other areas, yes, all those things are great. The thing about the platform, the technological side, is it will be able to accommodate that and more. Basically, if we think about YouTube, or if we think about StreamYard, which you're using right now
Hmm.
for this particular broadcast, you could come on and you could cast your vision and build your unique community on this, but that doesn't stop somebody else from using the same technologies to do something way different, right?
Okay. Yes,
So,
sure.
so what I want people to appreciate on what we're looking to do is what are the underlying things that this platform will allow and provide to make this specific vision of having a African Premier League become a reality. You see? Now, if Latin America wants to do the same thing, right, separate and apart from what Africa is doing, well, then they have the choice to do it like that. But then there's opportunity to collaborate. There's so much flexibility and creativity that could come out of it that you don't want to pigeonhole it into one specific narrative based on the founders. Basically, The founders is just creating a foundation, and then the world is going to do their thing on it. And that's, if you think about any great platform, that's what they do. They create something with underlying benefits, and everybody could do whatever creative thing that they want to do. Yeah.
Correct.
And that's going to attract more talent. It's going to attract more ideas. It's going to attract more financing, and then specific communities will be able to then pollinate and take some of these concepts and integrate it back into their concept. So if you think about AFCON, right? Obviously, AFCON will have taken things from looking at the World Cup, taking things looking at EuroLeague. The EuroLeague will take things looking at AFCON. And so, for example, when we went to World Cup in South Africa brought the flair and creativity and the vibrancy of celebration of Africa, just like what Roger Miller brought on the individual level when he did it on the flag, right? And in 1990 in Italy, South Africa embodied that as a nation when they brought the World Cup to the world. So what we are saying is we want to be able to essentially allow anyone, any community, any individual to believe, to have a dream.
Yes.
Empire of Dreams is this place that any young person could go to, could connect with, and dream, and it could come a reality. And we are just using sport as the vehicle to do it.
Wonderful. Amazing. It is clear one thing in common, and one thing that we see, it is coming from a younger generation than the older one. I think one thing with the AFCON is it is a dream that has been built on a structure, like you said, that was already there. Now, let's just dive back into what you say, even in terms of investment. When we look at the $5 million that is invested in AFCON, it's like, not a one man or a small community or some government put funds together, get some partners, and then they rely on the attendance, the participation, the sponsors, the tickets, the sales. And so the community is not really, they just know it's an African thing. Oh, we support this and this and this. But most of the time, the question is, yes, so what? When they go back after AFCON, the poverty is still going there. People that could not maybe, so that bonding coming from the community, supporting a talent is different from what you're trying to put here, isn't it?
Exactly. If you break down $5 million and you just get 1,000 people to put $5,000 in it, that's $5 million already, right?
Right.
If you take 10,000 people, that's $500 for 10,000 people. All right. I don't know the numbers of your own community, but I'm sure you could find 1,000 people or 10,000 people alone in your community alone, or even if you don't have that amount of people, just through the outreach by each one share with another, we could easily reach 10,000 people who could put $500 into a project that could bring them a lot of return, right? So the difference with putting now there's a fundamental shift that's happening in the world.
Correct.
And that's with the economic system of blockchain, cryptocurrencies, right? So a lot of inefficiencies in our existing financial ecosystem, cryptocurrency is looking to address that. So even how we spend money, how we use resources, cryptocurrency is promising to change that. And if we let's think about that tournament, right? $5 million goes into, from a government or from a national body, goes into this project. As you said, after the event, we go back to square one. However, what's supposed to happen is there's supposed to be some level of community development that comes out of that initiative that's supposed to then spur on further economic growth, right? That's why countries vie for the World Cup, because the World Cup brings that tourism dollar, it brings that foreign direct investment, and it brings development from infrastructure level that the country could use after, all right? But what we want to do is, yes, we want to keep that. We want to have that aspect still, but we want to have it in such a way that when you put money in something, your money doesn't have to go away after you put your money in it. So if you think about a fan going to the AFCON, right? Mm-hmm. They buy their tickets, they attend, they have an experience, and that's it for the fan.
Mm-hmm.
In our system, the fan automatically becomes an investor.
Exactly. That's the point that I wanted to put. That just to make that point very clear, because this is very important. In this concept that you're bringing, everybody wins, nobody loses. But in the original or the old concept of the way the world was doing it, just like before the pandemic and all this blockchain came, you see that there's a particular group of people that win. For instance, you get a player that gets so much money, right? And the community puts that money just to get a flair of, oh, I put my thing in this. But at the end of the day, the practical aspect of that community development, for instance, if you look at AFCON, Flanders, what can you say would be the benefit after AFCON to Cameroon, even as a host or other communities? What benefit, financial and economic benefit?
Well, traditionally, what I would say is, if any country uses a tournament well, what's supposed to happen is the country of Cameroon is supposed to be highlighted in such a way that will attract businesses to do business in Cameroon. That's what tournaments like that supposed to do, right? Also, obviously, new talent supposed to be identified out of these tournaments. Mm-hmm. When people come from cross borders between countries, business happens. Tourism dollar comes in. Sponsorship supposed to be able, like local companies supposed to be able to benefit from their country hosting an event, so that maybe they could do business in Kenya, they could do business in other African countries or beyond that. That is how those type of tournaments supposed to have that effect, but it doesn't always come out like that. So having certain types of technology could actually allow you to streamline, to track, and to actually do that in a better way, right? Mm-hmm. So you could get data and analyze and see where you are missing opportunity and then capitalize on that. So that is where technology could kind of bring that together and help people to see what type of metrics, what type of achievements we are making, what are we missing out on, and we could close the gaps, right? So for me, what I would say is, if we were to think about, if we had the solution that we are thinking about currently existing, one thing we are considering is, should it be something that is the prime sponsor to events, or should it connect alongside existing bodies, all right, existing organizations, and just be a partner, just like another sponsor, just like how Coca-Cola is a sponsor in FIFA and that type of stuff? Should this initiative, Empire of Dreams, connect with existing entities and be a partner and just add on additional benefits? Should it be like that, or should it be the one that primarily drives how it's done, how it's organized, how it's leveraged, how it's then further built upon after an event? So some of those things are things that we're thinking about and we're working on to find the best combination of what I would say features on this platform.
Okay, thank you very much. I think the vision comes clearer and clearer, and we can get when we put the traditional setup of sports on the continent and this kind of mega event, and we are looking for solutions, young solutions, particularly like this one, alternative solutions. Put everyone on screen. Alternative solutions, not just a one-way thing, but both. And we begin to see that this is an avenue where we can exploit, particularly in terms of community connecting communities worldwide, but also an innovation that is coming out there that gives everyone a possibility to be the big boss. It means I mean, when I see like try to understand what you're saying, we see a lot of young people casting and playing. Or I want my team or this liga somewhere, and they put money into this lotto thing. And if it doesn't win, then you see they were already. Was it a format that they already see? Okay, you can bet on a team, and then you get money out of it if that team wins. But at the end of the day, that's another circle. Damian. Damian.
Oh, his mic is off.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. Well, funny you
Yeah.
mentioned that, because that is one of the things that we are working on. And what Flanders are saying, the whole idea is for us not to lose, and for the communities not to lose, and for the average man on the street, for him not to lose. So even said, when you might place a bet on a player, but we're not really calling it a bet, because your money will be there, and it will be generated to help a next player, to help an athlete go forward, and you will be gaining the interest. So it becomes an investment. So let's say you bet on let me say a player, a young and up and coming player who's looking good, and you think that he can move on to the next round with his team and so forth. And let's say if you lose, you're still gonna get something off of it. It's just that you wouldn't get the full amount that you was looking for at the then time, but you still will gain, and you will gain more than what you come in with. You understand what I'm saying? But you wouldn't get the whole shalada. You will just get a portion of what you put out, and then some. So it have many ways you can view this. And as I was saying, with the sports tourism and stuff, like I was telling you in the earlier stages when I sent you the proposal, I have people who are interested in actually building a stadium and hospital and all these things, medical tourism. And I would like to reach out to them too, although we haven't spoken in a little while, and see if they're on the same pathway, and we have a whole discussion on going further with sports tourism and stuff also. Because this thing, it as you've seen, it developing right in front of our eyes. You understand? It's starting small, and that is a good thing. It come like a rose underground. You know, most people didn't heard of us, because we were just in the dark until now. You know, we budding now. We're going through the full stages, and until we get to the next level. Yeah.
Communication is a very good aspect. Like Cheryl is asking, and I think this goes back, Flanders, if you can read that question already, you can already feel the vibes of what we're talking about when she says, how are we benefiting the people of that community which participate in the vision and business plan needed?
Get mic off.
Flanders, can you hear me?
Yes, thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, so in terms of business plan and vision and stuff, right? So what we're going to be doing is from these conversations, what we're looking to do is to have, for example, something like a Discord, which is an online community where the team will be releasing in stages certain next steps in terms of next step of development, where we are at. Traditionally in projects like this, there's something called a white paper, and the white paper is essentially going to show you how it's going to work. So that's going to be the business plan essentially. In this round, we don't use business plans like the traditional sense, but we show how the economics is going to work, and how someone can get involved, and what the expected outcomes will be in terms of the benefits to the community. So then what's going to happen is, in that closed group, let's say it's a Telegram, that we open up a Telegram, and everyone is in that Telegram. The team is then going to be releasing updates to the community, and then allowing different levels of engagement where the community will then be able to get involved more directly, right? The watershed moment for us will be when everything is ready to the point. When everything is ready to the point where you will be able to take your funds on a wallet, a crypto wallet, right? And you will be able to then deposit into the platform and get tokens in exchange for your deposit. Those tokens are then going to allow you, the goal is to allow you to then be able to gain interest on your deposit, as well as then give you privileges to be able to vote on how the community is going to go forward. Just like how we're talking right now. When you're able to vote, you have a voice to be able to say, well, yes, we agree with the idea of building a stadium, right? We agree with the idea of partnering with Nike, because on the last call, some people had an issue with connecting with Nike, but the community is going to determine that. So then what's going to happen is that's going to help shape the direction of the project, right? And then what's going to happen is the events will start to roll out with prize money behind it. So then you'll be able to say, well, you know what? I want to participate in this boxing match in this community. I want to participate in this basketball match. How can I back? Is it that I have to back a team? Maybe it's going to start off where you back a team, and then eventually talent is going to be identified. And from there, then you can start backing individuals. And what's going to happen is, from, Cheryl mentioned, because I just want to shout out Cheryl, because from the short time I've been on these YouTube viewing, Cheryl has been a consistent person on your channel. So I just want to shout out Cheryl Penny. All right.
Yeah.
In terms of training camps, a lot of the development is going to be based on the community, right? A lot of it is going to be self-organized, right? Governments could get involved however they see fit. But what's going to happen is, as Empire Dreams get bigger and the financial resources get bigger, then with the backing of the community through the voting, we will be able to then say, hey, we want to actually do this bigger thing, right? We want to host this big league. We want to have these big stadiums, whatever it is. But the whole idea is to create a environment where people could self-govern, they could self-organize in a much more efficient way, and they could get direct return from their resources. So we don't need to wait on government. We don't have to pass our money through taxes and all of that stuff to then have a stadium that is not maintained, right? And then after, we have to pay money to come to the event and all of that kind of stuff. No, we want to have more direct engagement and more direct responses from the community, and they are building upon what we have placed for them to build upon.
Craig, I'm just throwing out the questions out there because they're very pertinent questions, and particularly the questions that Cheryl is asking. You could see that's the vision of the Pan-African. What is the benefit of the community, of the less privileged, of the marginalized? We look into consideration and we go back to the traditional setup of AFCON. If we look at it and try to analyze, what is the benefit of, after AFCON, what is an African child that maybe could sell mangoes there, or could host an event there, or could make that? We're putting that report on the ground to see what are the benefits to the community, because anything that doesn't benefit the community doesn't make any sense to us on the Pan-African Daily TV, as a matter of fact. But you already have addressed it, like it is the decision of the community. So even from the business idea and who gets involved and how we build whatever and use what infrastructure, it is all a communal decision that will start up from the community, how they back up, how they vote for whichever projects or initiatives will come up from that community. She also asked about how is this whole thing going to go on? Are they going to be training camps? Are they going to be scouts? That like we say, okay, if we identify the teams, are they going to be training in Cameroon, in Ghana, in Ethiopia, in Mozambique, in Cape Verde? Are they going to be trainers that will be training these teams before we start getting into competing and backing up? How is it going to look like to be able to identify even the talent?
Yeah, well, definitely. From the grassroots come up, well, you got to have training session, you got to have coaches, you got to have all that and more. Well, one of the person who will help us to unveil that is a guy by the name of Michael Hitchcock. And Michael Hitchcock, he was very influential, and he was the Dallas from the MLS, the Dallas GM. He actually was part of the panel that actually made the decision to bring David Beckham to Major League Soccer and stuff. So we have, as I said, we have a team of us who actually, they have the feel and they know how everything is gonna unveil. So the talent now, what he will be helping us build from is from grassroots, come straight up to the pros. And the thing is, when you become number one now, when we get to that level, is maintenance, and even with the stadiums and so forth. Because when you build a stadium, it will cost a lot of money. You'll have to, sometimes you might lose first in order to gain later on. Because to make money, you have to spend money. We all know this. But at the end of the day, what it will bring a larger tourism portion that coming back to the country. It will bring how to put it? It will bring enough to sustain the community, and through entrepreneurship and through working at the stadium, and as you say, well, a young child selling mangoes or whatnot. But we just want them to come there just to sell mangoes. We want to be organized. In everything that we do, we want to be organized. You have to register a business. Yes, you will be part of the team, but you will get first preference because you are an investor. So when you register a business, you will go for your food badge as normal, because we don't want you to just go there and reinsure. You might be clumsy, you might wash your hand and serving food. You understand? So we want to be able to have everything from a gear go straight up in a proper way and a proper format that we will be held accountable in case anything goes wrong, because we're supposed to have things implement to make sure everything runs smooth. So it's not just we operating disorganized.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a global concept. We all see that, and we could all understand and get the feeling of it. Is there any way? I'm talking to Flanders. I mean, we had enough of this. We know already the part Damian is taking. We really focus on the developmental and the technology behind it, because I think that's what says it all. Is it another possibility that we can scale it down to really simple kind of sports that actually is enjoyable? Yes, people gain from it without actually getting to touch. I mean, from the beginning, touch some of these big ventures. If we look at the stadiums, they're already existing already. Probably we'll partner with that one. We don't. If I see only the investment in building a stadium, and I ask how much money you need to make out, or for anybody to be, particularly in the poorer communities, for me, those are no investments to make anyway. So, but is there any simple format that you talked about? Platform development, reach out and stuff. If we start now, how are we going to drive top traffic and get young talents of the streets, or start making something that is really tangible to save some lives?
Okay, good. Good question. There are two parts of that question. Essentially, one of the things that we will want to do is to not try to do everything.
Yes.
Because the amount of resources is required to do a lot could actually take your vision off course. What you want to do is you want to have funding and money in such a way that you could touch and move bigger entities. So because of the levers that we're looking to move from the ground up, the bigger entities will have to dance with us. That's what we want to do, right?
Okay.
So, because of the connections on the ground, what's going to happen is the big players are going to say, well, they're going to spend their money behind this, right? So if it's government is going to move to spend their money. If it's big companies, they're going to want to move to spend their money just to kind of leverage and tap into what we're doing. But because it's a community, that's where the power is, because it's really people that are the fans, the people are the players. The players come out to the community, the fans come out to the community. So what you want to do is create something where you're really moving the big entities to spend their money. That's the first thing, so that way resources are used efficiently. The next thing is when it comes to something simple. So Damian had called me earlier this weekend, I think it was. There's a particular there's a particular event that we are interested in getting involved in some way. And this event is just basically a group that is hosting a boxing match in their community, right? They want to do it in April, I think it is, Prescod, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, I want to mention the person name also. His name is Swapi.
Okay.
But yeah, they want to do it in the community, but he gonna have a fight. I think is on the 26th of this month. It's a celebrity boxing game. Sorry, and the community, the initiative is really guns down, gloves up, and he have gotten so much of youngsters, even guys who involved in crime and stuff, who just love the whole mission and just rallying behind him and stuff when. And the whole guns down, gloves up. So it's where, as I say, sports is the avenue. It's a vehicle. So you have youngsters who interested now, just want to box. You understand? To find a new way to release negative energy. And in Trinidad and Tobago, the older generation, as a child growing up, we always hear this say, "Devil find work for idle hands." So the at-risk youths now, once we have things like that, we get them into things that they love, into things that they can relate to. Eventually, they will follow suit, and their friends will come. You understand? And before you know it, everybody rallying along and dancing the same tune. And it's all about the community. And as I want to stress on where Mr. Flanders say also, he said it's all about the people, the community. And the big brands will dance once the community, because the community is everything. If you don't have the community support, you don't have the fan, there is no football. Cristiano Ronaldo, in a statement he made, he said, it feels so boring playing without the fans. He said that recently with Manchester United. He said, hey, it's no fun. You understand? He missed the oohs and ahs. If a man make a mistake, and he missed the whole he missed the whole thing with the fans cheering and sometimes the fans booing him. Like I remember Kobe Bryant, the deceased Kobe Bryant had a game, and the team fans was against Kobe, and they were saying Kobe sucked, and Kobe fans started to say MVP, Kobe sucked, MVP. So and it's the excitement that it brings. You understand what I'm saying? So
yes.
Without the fans, really, you have nothing. You understand? And these establishments from before us to our time right now, I think they just use the fans. You understand? They use the money, they use the community. So they drain the communities first and no reward for it. You understand? Then they take a player out of the community and no reward for it. In Trinidad and Tobago, our government, they put like my wife is a nurse, so they put her through the system and whatnot. And she has to give back. She had to give back before she can go anywhere. If she want to travel to go to America and do her nursing or whatnot, she must put in, I think it's 2 or 3 years first. You understand? So the way how it's structured, that this can happen the same way too. If the government invests in a player, then we want the player to at least we can have him for 2 years. If they choose to sell the player to Ghana or Cameroon or even to Europe or Asia, but at least he have to put in his dues. You understand? And the percentage that the government will make on this person, this individual, will go back. I've been saying it, to help an next child. So it's each one teach one. You understand? So everybody becomes an asset. Everybody, from the small man who's selling the hot dog, who's selling the beer at the games and whatnot, everybody have their role. And you were saying with the stadiums and stuff, you're not seeing it. But I would tell you something. If you want with tourism is so important India makes billions of dollars off of tourism. The United States also. Many countries depend on tourism. And if you have a team, we must get to that point where we have to have a house for them and a home, like Manchester United is the theater of dreams. And if you want with the getting into it come like with the saying at church. You go to church where they say the twos and the threes are gathered, God in his midst. You understand? So you feel that presence, you feel that energy with your brethren. So you need to have a proper environment to collect the money, to sell at the games, at the venue and whatnot. And what this do also, you want to build it in a way where in the stadium itself is actually hotels. So if we hosting, like we say Cameroon is hosting Ghana, the stadiums is actually the hotel itself. So when you buy the ticket, you purchase, you're dealing with the rental car. You understand? So when you have a car at your disposal that you can move around with, you go into the hotel, which will be built into the stadium itself. And then from there now, once you buy the ticket from the plane to the stadium to the car, you have access to everything. And as Mr. Flanders mentioned earlier on to me, which I love the concept, where he was saying, he think once you make an investment with the team, you shouldn't have to pay to really go in to one of the games. You understand what I'm saying? Because you're an investor. So you're supposed to just walk into the stadium because you already made your investment towards it, if it's on the platform or whatnot. You understand what I'm saying? So in that way, we're not excluding nobody. And because let's say if I put out $500 and I invest in the platform today, and tomorrow I may not have no money, I probably didn't get paid on time. So you telling me I have to stay outside the stadium and can't go in? You understand what I'm saying?
Correct.
And my heart, and I probably the most loudest one in the crowd, where I will say, come on, get up, go. We need that goal. And you understand what I'm saying? And spur the athletes on. So it's everybody plays the part, from the smallest to the tallest, the shortest to the tallest, sorry. So we don't want to leave out anybody. And that's what I'm saying with sports tourism. This is sports tourism, and it have massive participation with different sports, where it have America have the Ironman, it have all kind of things that it have the cycling, it have where you're going through mountain climbing, then you have to swim and all these things. All these things is serious tourist revenues. If you Google them up, you will see these as billion dollar industry. You understand that we have to build the proper facilities, because if we don't have the proper facilities in Trinidad and Tobago, we have something where when you weld in, if you watch it, we call it arc eye. It hurts your eye. So you don't want to have the player playing on a field where there is sand, there is gravel, because you're selling it to the wider world. So when they watch in on it, they say, oh my goodness, Cameroon grounds is beautiful. Nigeria field is, oh, I can sleep on it. I remember the first time I went to Miami, we played in the Tampa Bay. It was like a football tournament for all the college footballers, the best of the best. And I was invited. And I remember the first day we touched down in Miami, the fields were so beautiful. All the footballers, we actually was lying down on the field. We said, coach, we don't even want to move, because this was the first time we actually played on such nice surface. And that's like a footballer dream. You dream for that. Apart from dreaming to hear the crowd screaming your name, you dream to play on beautiful pitch, on beautiful grounds. So when you play in the game, the ball won't do nothing out of the unordinary. You want the ball to flow, that the players will be able to exhibit proper skills. If the field is bumpy, the player can't put a ball through a man's leg, so it will becomes harder. He will have to work harder. Then, if the field not good, the players could get injured. We always have to go and spend doctor bills to kind of get the players back in tune. So you want surface nice and smooth, and the full works. And I will tell you something, as saying when Mr. Flanders said also, in the crypto space and the Bitcoin and stuff, as he was saying, people figure $1 billion is far. In the Bitcoin, $1 billion is so reachable. It come like 100,000. You understand? And we just have to get in tune with things. The same stock and all these things buying stock, and you see NASDAQ and you're seeing these guys on Wall Street doing it, and they're becoming successful. So if they're becoming successful in buying stock and investing in Bitcoin and these things, why can't we do the same thing? Why we playing shy and we shying away? You understand what I'm saying? We gotta
Yeah.
keep up with the system. We gotta extend it into the communities, because at the end of the day, it's not all about working hard. It's about working smart. So if there's a way that I can go out there and work smart instead of have to work 9 to 5 and kill myself out, that the system woke me enough just to come home, sleep, not better myself, and just to go again, and it have a easier way. Hey, let's go for the easier way. And strength is numbers. I believe in strength. The community, there is no football without the community. And I'm stressing this on all the communities in Africa. And I say in Africa, united Africa, like the United States. So I'm speaking about Ghana, Cameroon, everybody. In the CONCACAF, in Trinidad and Tobago, where I'm from, the community is the foundation. And we, the people, have to realize that, and we got to come together. We need to come together, because life is short. I contracted the COVID, and I felt like if I was dying, my heart rate was going up, pressure was, and I tell myself, hey, listen, I ain't want to die now. You understand? Because at the end of the day, there's so much things to be done, but we gotta be realistic too. Because tomorrow, we don't know what tomorrow holds. We on borrowed time. It's not our decision. It's God's timing. So today I might be here. Tomorrow I'm gone. So I'm stressing on. We got to come together now for the younger generation, for the unborn child, for your third generation or fourth generation or whatnot. We got to leave something for them, for our kids. You understand? Because it's important. We cannot just play the fool and say, hey, listen, we're going to just spend and just do this simple. In anything we do, we got to aim for the skies. You understand? Because at the end of the day, if we dream small, then at the end of the day, there's nothing to be gained from it. As a person once told me, he said, if your dream cannot outlive you, he says, shut up, talk in your mind. Don't waste people's time. So we have to dream big enough, like the Wright brothers who put the airplane in the skies. They died so much years ago, and yet still the evidence still exists. So we gotta be on these levels. And as Black people too, we gotta come together. And Susan, you mentioned something the other day where we saying, okay, yes, we've been through, we was enslaved. Yes, we know our generation, our forefathers has suffered, and ancestors has suffered. But it's time we move past that. You understand what I'm saying? It's time we move past that, in the sense that we need to come together. We need to push forward to gain what is due to us, which is the same way all the other like Western worlds have all the resources there, and they have all the resources. We know it from Africa, because Africa is like the motherland. So, but we privileged to be on the soil. So why can't we capture what is there? You understand what I'm saying? So, but it's just, we just need to just come together and just love each other and just do what is best for each other. And at least we own the land, we own Mother Earth, which is Africa. We have the gold, we have the diamond, we even have the manpower, is 1 point something billion. You understand? And Mr. Tremayne mentioned 5 million US for the African Cup of Nation. That is small money. That is no type of money. You understand? This initiative, if we come together, we will surpass that. We could surpass that in 1 month and less, if we just come together. But we need to come together. And somebody that messaged you, Susan, last week, and they were saying they're calling people from the diaspora to come back home. But a lot of people is afraid, because they're saying, when we come back home, it's just like you all just want to take our money. You understand? Because the scene where we've been used and abused by our own fellow men. You understand? So if we're doing something, we got to just say, hey, listen, I love you, and I'm willing to go the distance. And it's all about being transparent. In everything we're doing, we want to be transparent. We want to be held accountable for what we are doing. And if we make a mistake, we're supposed to be big enough to say, brother, sister, I apologize. I messed up there. But forgive me, let's move on and you understand, to attain the greater good.
It is what it is. And yes. Flanders, I saw your flyer, the United Vision of Africa.
Yes. So as I mentioned before this project, or along this project, I work in other initiatives. So Africa has always been a key part of what the vision is for my organization. So just to kind of give a background with that quickly, as I mentioned, as a software developer, I'm involved in software and business development. And I partnered with a global company about 5 years ago in the area of education, mentorship, and software services that helps persons to develop their own skills as well as be mentored by very successful people in the area of personal investing, personal trading, and that kind of stuff. So what happened is I have connection in South Africa, Nigeria, Ghana, and Cameroon. And so that picture that you saw was a Zoom call for persons in Africa about the United Vision of Africa when it comes to what we are looking to do through an initiative called PIPS globally. That is people investing in people selflessly globally. So that particular vision is one where I'm building a wealth network, all right? And the wealth network is people all around the world being able to invest in each other through mentorship, through their own resources, and through software and through education. So this company I'm partnered with is doing it in a very specific way in certain high income generating markets. But the broader vision is to be able to build that network across many different skills, not just what we do right now. So so at this point in time, PIPS globally is about building a network of like-minded people who are investing in each other through education, mentorship, and software services. Yeah.
Okay. Beautiful. You see, everything is coming up together. I think we'll still have a one-on-one conversation on that initiative, because I went through it and I find it really interesting for us to have you as a guest, particularly on that. But today we are talking about this a sport as a vision that could unite us, not could, should unite us. Now,
Yes.
the one thing that I want us to know, the
Sorry,
audience.
before you continue, Susan, sorry to interrupt you. The reason why what Empire Dreams is doing aligns with PIPS globally is because when it comes to Africa, there were two key areas we were interested in actually developing. And that's in infrastructure, internet infrastructure, because when I connected with some people in Africa in rural areas, there were problems connecting on the internet. So that's definitely an area we want to actually be able to invest in. The second thing is in clean water. And how I came about in that regard was there's a gentleman who runs a charity called Charity Water, and they build clean wells across Africa and other countries, other regions where there's a lack of clean drinking water. And if we lack of clean drinking water is a huge economic situation, because if you just take rural communities in Africa, when mothers have to take their time away from entrepreneurial activity to go long distances to get clean drinking water for their kids, all right, kids are missing out on education and mothers are missing out on entrepreneurial activity or work. So this particular organization have been building wells all across Africa and building clean drinking water, making access to clean drinking water. So that inspired me to contribute to that. And what we want to do is actually increase our contribution to those initiatives. So what Empire Dreams is doing is just in the area of sport, and that marries to our broader vision. So thank you for allowing me to share that as well.
Oh, thank you. Of course, if we look at what Empire Dreams is doing, is going to, and I mean, is coming down to solve all this. I mean, those are the basic needs that we're talking about. And I think that was the question Cheryl kept asking. How would the community benefit? These are projects like this that we need to align, and it really doesn't cost anything. Honestly, that's what I think. Yes, we have to get the big vision and then the bottom line. But I
Yes.
want to allow something from these conversations that we've been talking about that is very necessary for us to take away from here and move forward on this vision. The first thing is we have to do something now. That's the first thing. So we've been into a lot of projects. We have to at least do one thing. It means it's time to act. We have to act. And this project is one of the projects that we know we're building. Pan-African Daily TV as the main media, connecting us, voices of Africans worldwide in different segments. It's already there. The exposure, the platform for the media is already there. And then this one as a global project that will unite us. So, but the thing is, we must do something. This is January 2022, like Professor James Small was saying, and the other elders. We need to act. We must do one project in this year, 2022. We have to build the Pan-African Daily TV. That's already one. That one, we must do it. And then get this sport event on that is connected. Something has to be symbolic that is going around. And this sport venture, I think, is one of the things that include all the others. It includes us, the media. It's going to push us to build the Pan-African Daily. Number two, it's going to bring this kind of community uplift, the outreach, connecting all the communities together and pushing up something that is active. Number three is sport is one of the areas where we need to heal. We like it or not. Sport is a healing. We know it in every other thing. Just like Damian, even though you say it sounds a little bit like this hippie here, or these are things that are psychological, they take away trauma.
Correct.
It has to be something that is continuous. And we know we are a broken community from way back. We need activities that connect us, that unite us, that make us just, but this one is even conscious. We are conscious on this one. So the healing that is involved in this event or in this vision is very enormous. The last thing I want to say is the money. If we don't put money in this venture, Africans will put it in European ventures. That's a fact. That's what we've always been doing. Whether it is AFCON now, it is not an African thing. It is always a package thing and brought to Africa. And that's why I think this vision, yes, we'll ask questions. We're going to dig into something, but we have to start. We have to start this one. We must get this one off our feet this year, 2022. By mid, we're already doing the selection. We're already doing the training. We're already putting the camps. Something is already going on. We're already announcing the participation. We have the platform already, the Pan-African Daily, together with the Flanders, with your web developing. We're going to develop the systems that will reach out to all of that. But we must do something this 2022. When are we starting? Over to all of you. We must do it.
Okay, so I'll take it because we're talking about some technical stuff, right? So first of all, we're already doing some things, right? And even what we're doing in this conversation is not to be underestimated, right? There's somebody on this line right now who's listening, who's going to have a significant impact on this. All right, we may not even be seeing them right now because they might be on YouTube. But the whole thing is about it is this: we have the concept, which is, and we are building out the white paper for it, which is like the business plan that Cheryl spoke about, right? From that, the next step, in my humble opinion, is going to be taking the community from this particular channel. We have other communities as well. So what we're going to be doing is actually bringing it together in some, whether it's Telegram or whatever platform, where we're going to have everyone who could be updated, because communication is the key when it comes to the next steps, right? From there, while that communication is going on, what we want to do is we want to have concrete examples of use cases that we are actually executing on. Because once you have that, what will happen is going to be a snowball effect from there, right? So let's say right now we mentioned a boxing community initiative in our country. That is something we are hoping that we could probably pull off something with them, but it may not necessarily be that particular event. It could be a next event that they're going to do, but it might be the same players, the same actors, just on a later date. So what they're doing, for example, is they're just putting a boxing ring in their community, and they have their people coming together looking at the boxing and in an open field, and they're boxing right there in their community. If something as simple as that, we could actually have realize some kind of implementation of our platform connecting to that, that is powerful, because then everybody will see, well, wait now, I don't need all of this red tape. I don't need to go through all of this. I could just arrange an event in Nigeria, in Cameroon, in Kenya, and we could connect with that event and people could actually participate. Once you get that, right, then what will happen is it's going to snowball. So in terms of this year, definitely we're going to get that done. Is in terms of how much of it will it be happening, that's the question. But what we need to do is we need to have at least 5 different sports participating from the community level where we are connected to, and we can use that as our marketing, essentially highlighting it, and people outside of this community is going to see that, and they're going to be like, wait no, so I could be right here in Brazil, in a community in Brazil, and organize something and plug into this platform, and boom, we could get that kind of returns happening. We could get that network effect happening within our community and even outside of our community, and that's going to create that snowball effect and make it happen. So if we're talking about this year, definitely the goal is to have a platform working and to have at least a couple of use cases of it executed this year, and the next year and going forward will be to amplify and to basically have increased adoption through marketing and further exposure.
Platform, we have it already. We have the conferencing platform that can host 1,000 participants at any time. Remember, when we're doing all these things, we have to know where our data is being served and how people can, and how we can get security over that. We have the platform already. We can talk about that after. But
so one thing, Dr. Susan, I may not know all about your network and the platform, but one thing that we could see that could be, we may want it to be self-organized, but there may be an opportunity to collaborate with people outside of Africa. So let's say, for example, there's a community in Brazil and they have certain sporting traditions and maybe unconventional sports, right? So for example, in Tobago, in our country, we have goat racing, right? Where they run with goats, okay? And that's a tradition that's big in our Tobago. So let's say there's a community doing something in sport that we don't know about, and they want to participate. And how does the community get involved in actually seeing what is happening? So when it comes to the broadcasting, all right, there may be somebody who is versed with cameras in that on the ground there who could connect to YouTube, to the bigger community of Pan-African. I don't know how that will play out, but you will be more versed there, right? Whereby there could be satellite locations in terms of people broadcasting the actual event. And where there's a lack of broadcasting, what we are thinking about is commenting. So for example, there are some websites where football games go on and there's live commenting going on. So you may not have the live broadcast, but you have people, somebody doing a commentation saying that the latest, there's a free kick, there's a goal scored, this is the score, and that kind of stuff. So even if we don't have visual, we don't have live broadcast, we're going to have some level of communication where the entire community is going to get live feed of what is happening in that particular event. So that is some of the things that we we are figuring out in terms of what we will need to work out on and have in place this year. Yeah.
Let's talk after the conversation, and we look at the possibilities of actually what we need in terms of technology and platforms. The platforms that I'm talking about are digital spaces that we also did create, which are similar, because you talked about Telegram, and this one is a combination of Zoom and StreamYard and everything. We can do live streaming. We can do, I mean, anyway, you are a developer, you look at it and then you will know if there's things that we need or what kind of things we need to engage on it. But I just want to make you understand, yes, there are already existing platforms. We need to get the ball rolling. We need to get into this, what Damian, you were saying, get the teams together. We need to get some action going. That's why people think we talk a lot. We talk a lot because, we have everything. But something is just always lacking that we don't start at some point in time. And I think the next step is to start with what we have. We're not going to create anything new. Everything is already here. But how do we start to put this milestone to work for us? Damian?
All right. Well, I have certain people in part of like in Nigeria, in Ghana, well, in Cameroon. So now it's more or less they are the groundmen. And funny, Mr. Flanders and I were talking, and he sent me a message, and he said, "All right, let's get Damian, which is his brother, also name is Damian, my best friend." So he said, "Let's get Damian and Antonia, another best friend. Let me get them moving. Let me start this thing now and getting the players organized." And
Yes.
I said, "Funny, I was now talking to someone on that also, then organizing the players, and you're saying, 'Yeah, you ready?' And they say, 'All right, well, let's do it.'" So these guys been behind me and saying, "Hey, come on, we need to get this thing moving." So as I'm saying, we can have this going by tomorrow. So I'm looking to start the whole players selection and just get things off the ground. So
Correct.
yeah.
Yep. Thank you very much. I think it's great. Everything, we must come together and start something. I have a very important and a very I don't know whether it's good news. Also for me, it is. We are getting access to get a legend in the world sport, in the sport of African people. A legend that has been how do I want to say it? I mean, a name, a brand in the faces of us as united people worldwide. And he is Abedi Pele. We all know him. Elder Abedi Pele would be our guest sometime next week. And probably I want to make it in such a way that we have the traditional concept of what soccer or football or sport has been, in his generation, you, the young generation, coming up with this kind of idea. How can we blend both to work out this? So I hope to get him next week or in the week after. But any other thing, do you think that would be a good idea when we have a conversation like this with a legend like that?
Yeah, very good. It will help the brand, and he will have ideas also. A player like his capability and experience, he will be definitely great in helping the brand going forward.
Mr. Flanders?
If I'm not mistaken, you're speaking about Pele, right?
Yes.
Well, I mean, to have Pele, to be on the same platform with Pele is definitely going to benefit tremendously. And it's the kind of voices that we want to connect to. So we actually have a connection with George Weah as well.
Yeah.
Right? Sorry. And Roger Miller.
Of course.
Right? In Cameroon. So maybe we could get George Miller to Roger Miller to come on board and speak as well. So that's another aspect. Definitely, if we could have a couple of legends speak about it, because I think at their stage, they are most interested in the grassroots development of football.
Sure. Yes. I mean, you see, that's what we're putting, like the old generation and the new generation, right? To see, yes, we also have our own initiatives, but they like we say, the African proverb that say, "What an old man stands up and see, or sit down and see, a younger can never stand up and see." Of course, we do say the sky is not the limit at that idea, but we want to also hear from the leaders. You present the concept to them. We analyze the issue, hear what they think about them, and get a lot of support from that mentoring and what could be that we need to pay attention on. So I think, yes, we're going to be connecting the legends, but also we're going to be connecting the young people like the Samuel Eto'os and the Drogbas also to the concept to see. It mustn't be theirs, it's Empire's vision. But imagine we're talking in the world of football and sport and legends and young people that have made a brand out there, out of Africa, on the continent, and worldwide. So why not? So if we build it from every sector that we want to think, getting advice from others as well, I think it's going to be already the good start. Now, Sherry is asking if we can have a off YouTube meeting, with this concept. If there would be any meeting that you think, okay, we need interestees to kind of like hook up, we could set that on conferencing. If there's any need for that, make sure you get back to us and we can do something like that. Like people who want to invest, or people who say, yes, I love the concept. How do we go forward? We're creating the investment platform on it. We want to know more. Yeah, I think if you have a need for that, for us to organize private outdoor meetings, or, not on YouTube, we'll gladly do that. Do you see that happening?
Of course, we definitely will need that. And it could be Zoom, it could be any platform where it's closed, and it will be regular, probably twice a month or something. The white paper is going to actually break down a number of things in more detail that we wouldn't talk about here. So, in terms of the financing and that type of stuff. So definitely look out for that. And that's what we're seeing from this call. What we will do, we will put together a closed environment, right? Where there's going to be communication, and there's going to be live calls like this to get you up to date with what is happening. So that way you, who is viewing right now, could be an active participant in this, of course.
Correct. Yes, we're going to do that on conferencing. Like I said, we'll have to present conferencing to you. It's the same app like Zoom, but it's our own made. So we can preserve our data. People can be confident to know that the information is on our server, right? I mean, we start protecting our own thing from us to us, also to consume our own brands. A lot of Africans have been developing also, competitive tools to put our money where our own resources also are, or our own thing. So you would have to, I will send you a link to it. You can take a look at it. We're still waiting to get on Apple with it, but Android users, particularly those on the continent, already on it. It's not been long ago and officially not launched, but this is where we can start from. We have video calls, just exactly like what others do, and even more, to host participants in meetings like that, and even stream the meetings live, right?
Excellent.
So yes, we would start to get that, because some of the things, particularly when it gets to investment and business, these are not things that we talk in the open. It's really meant for people that are interested. Not every conversation like this, I could see already how tight this topic is as compared to our audience. I know the family members are always present here, but if we were talking about something else, and that's how far we Africans are away from business, away from anything that we put money there, Africans are really like, but they enjoy putting it somewhere else. So it's also a start for us to start thinking, to know, yes, we have to consume our brands, we have to bring our own visions, we have to try them, we have to invest in them. Like I say, if you look how much money, Flanders, I don't know the figures, or you, Damian, that Africans give out for sport. Can you just only think buying Manchester's tricot and jerseys and all that and sport things? I mean, if you see Adidas on all this who want to sponsor, where do you think the money comes from? And then imagine of building something and putting that money in our community.
Yeah, billions, and all this money going outside, and it don't come. Most of the time, we are the spenders. You understand? So, and that's why we're saying we need to actually, as Mr. Flanders was saying, and yourself, Susan, That's where the platform comes in, because it's an invested interest in ourselves. You understand? And it's time we target and time we buy our own brand, in the sense that the player, you buy into a player, and hey, the player now will be able to how to put it, take it to a whole new level and take your brand to a whole new level, because in the community there are businesses, there are small businesses that can invest in a player, and it will help your brand grow on the outside. And your brand could become the next big thing, the next big Apple, the next big probably Nike, and so forth. You understand? So, and it starts from the foundation. As I said, I will always stress on the community. It starts with the community, and the businesses within the community, the local businesses, need to be a part of it also in going forward.
Beautiful. I think we really got it. And then Brother Ibukun is saying, please think of copywriting the concept. Did you think about that, Flanders? Of course, I'm just asking.
The elements of it that definitely will be is copyright is copyright essentially, but there's elements of it that is common among different types of projects. The space that we're dealing with is one where there's a lot of activity going on right now in sport. So what we'll be doing is, as we go forward and things get more concrete and crystallized, we'll be able to differentiate in terms of the unique aspects of what we are offering compared to everyone else. And traditionally, we don't copyright everything in the space, because if everybody was to do that, we will not have been able to probably use some of the technology involved to do what we need to do. So
yes,
but there's going to be financing to support that aspect of things, and audits and that kind of stuff, to make sure we are above board with those type of stuff. And by the way, somebody just said they're not interested in football. That's okay. It doesn't have to be football. We most familiar with football, but I love basketball. I actually watch basketball more than football right now. Golden State Warriors in the NBA is my favorite team. I know in Africa they're looking to build a league. The NBA is doing some stuff in there. So definitely. And track and field, well, Usain Bolt, we come from the Caribbean. So in fact, when Usain Bolt got his last medal, I got a thought, and Prescod was the one that was able to tap into that. So definitely I said we need to do more, because Usain Bolt came out with all these records, and yet still what is happening for the broader Caribbean? Jamaica is definitely benefiting, but the rest of the Caribbean is way behind. So I love the fact that the person mentioned other sports as well.
yes. And if we're talking about even starting Flanders, to be honest with you, you talked about that goat running. These are the kind of things that really we could start out. Simple things, and because in every community on the continent, they have goats. I mean, I know people are going to come up to us like, what have the goats done to you people for you to punish them like that?
We have goat race, we have crab race, where they tie a crab on a string and the crab run, and a lot of people come around and look at that. When we were growing up in the community that Prescod and I come from, we would play marbles, pitching marbles, right? And that was a big thing. We used to gather around and pitch marbles, and whoever win the match win the marbles and all kind of stuff. So there's unusual types of sports that the world doesn't normally look at in a big way, and this will help kind of bring that to the fore as well.
Exactly. I think if we start up with just simple things while we're putting up, even the suckers will just come up. Somebody said it last time that it sounds like some kind of Olympic, kind of a lot of things going on. But you see, for me, what actually from a point we'll get to other disciplines. But let us go back to these indigenous things that we used to do when we're growing up. And believe me, it you wouldn't believe it. If we do these things like you're talking about, this goat running and this crab thing and stuff, I mean, I don't know. Let's go back also to the sports. If we can start only simple events and do competitions like that, what about that?
Sounds great.
Damien?
Yeah, it sounds great. I think going back to the foundation, that come like fundamental, and it that how to put it, that used to have us together. We didn't used to fight each other, and even self boys. We as boys, we coming up, we have a little fight and stuff, but we's best of friends in the morning, or probably that said day. You understand? So these things like pitching marbles, like kite flying, and all these things is what makes up. I have to do all these things with my son though, because my son, as I say, he haven't seen what I have experienced yet, and I think I need as a father. I think I have to give him that kind of leverage where he can actually have a life. I have to say, because that was part of my life. That was part. You all talking about that, but pitching marble, and it bring a smile to my face. It bring a joy. Yeah.
You see,
Hmm.
thank you so much. I think it has been a wonderful conversation with you, Flanders and Damien, and particularly on
Thank you.
subject. We're going to continue next week again, host you, and like I said, if we have our legend Abedi Pele, and all of them, we have to start putting a track record to them. They have to come, and let's see how we move, put all these resources and all the talents that they've had from the continent, and benefiting and giving back to the roots with their experience. We necessarily will not talk too much without mentioning money, but the most important thing is these memories of the past. What connects us is more than what divides us, and any initiative that we're bringing for our people, whether it's a money making venture or whatever, the first primary goal is the unity among us, connecting us after 400 years of being disenfranchised, disconnected. We never knew each other, but today we're connecting here. We're talking as brothers and sisters. That is the biggest goal, and that's the legacy that I think, no matter how we bring what kind of initiative, but when we have the passion and the love for one another and giving voices to the voiceless, right? Bringing that equality, the justice, and the principles of Ma'at, which is actually where we're from, the ancient Egypt and Kemetic. I think that's our philosophy. And love is the compass that directs us in everything that we do. So we are not here to say, oh, somebody's just coming here to scam. We don't know those words in the Pan African Daily. Someone is coming or someone is saying. We look at the concept, we chew it, we try to understand it. People try to get engaged in it. That's why a lot of questions are coming up, because one thing that unites us is not money. We know it. If not, we wouldn't be existing as a race of people, looking into our history and our challenges. So we are building ourselves, like to say, to heal our past. And so we bring the memories of the past, we bring activities that actually engage us, connecting us back to our roots, the Sankofas, going back to our ancestral beliefs and indigenous ways and games and the way we used to communicate. That's why when you talked about boxing, I'm just like, I don't know whether that has been our own culture of doing things in sport. Yes, in entertainment and something like that, but anything that would hurt. I'm really the last kind of person to enjoy such games anyway. Doesn't matter whatever thing happens to it, but that's me and us. What unite us? Maybe it's a game, like you said. I know the tricks that you people use behind, no idea. But when I see blood coming out of people, I like, how do they even watch it? Right. All right. So,
Dr. Susan,
yeah.
as it, before you finish, as you mentioned that maybe the platform could actually recreate the rules because, for example, in boxing, people hit themselves in their heads, and that's dangerous. What about if, because of this community type of platform, we could have a different type of boxing where there are rules where you can't hit the person in their head or whatever, and create a more friendlier type of version of the sport. So what
Thank
we're
you.
seeing is there could be creativity and new rules, and the community could actually come up with these things, and the people will determine if this is valuable to them as a sport.
Mm, this is it. Now
Goes
you're
back to
getting
the
in there.
community.
Yeah, back to the community. So the main idea is throwing back this to the community. How do you want us to live as a people? What are the values that we've seen? A lot of things have not worked. COVID has proven it, that a lot of systematic whatever money ventures that have not benefited people, that have not gone to put the values of humanity, has failed us. And we wonder why we get contaminated. And so, yes, that's the point. We can look at into this different sport disciplines and say, how can we do it different, in a more friendly way, in a more entertaining way, but of course something that is more healing, not this demonic kind of devilish kind of reptile kind of, you know, things that we see kill people, or even not even kill people, but just that aspect. Who want the children to go and see boxing? I would never, as a mother of the nation, even encourage that. You know, fighting each other is already that kind of slave games that we used to see. How did they used to beat us in those things? And so things that will bring up those wounds, we have to throw it. Or because we know that the scars of the wound are there, how could we rebuild it from the community? See, what are the things that actually make us laugh more, right? And heal us than the ones that we put our money and see brother and sister punching, and we want to talk about that. That's not unity in any way. Anyway, yes, that's not a bad idea, but we can we could redefine. It's all about redefining, like we're talking about changing narratives. Our slogan on the Pan-African is, we are not doing anything new. It is not about seeing something new. It is about thinking something new of what you see. That's the slogan of the Pan-African Daily. It's not about seeing something new. There's nothing that we're creating here that is new, but it's thinking something new of what we are seeing. And I think it fits to what actually you said. If we could bring something that is more, you know, more human, and take away these barbaric slave things that they talk. We talked about beating. We talked about all these Olympic games. How did they start? It started in all those farms and slave farms when they took cocks and put together to hit themselves and kill themselves. And then it went up to us, where they would sit and enjoy us fight. I mean, things that will go to heal those wounds, I would never think that we could do. We could do much better. We could come up with those kind of activities and sport and games that the world would be feigning and dying to see because they never saw it. So let's be creative. It's a very good thing, like you said it. Let's bring it out and do all the things that are only alternative. This ones would just be as not a must-have, right? So I want to thank all of you for joining. I hope you all that were here have clicked to subscribe if you haven't done that, but I don't see any stranger here anyway. But if you're new and you're going to share this video, like we say, we need 300 or less tonight to hit 50,000, and we'll be saying yippee to ourselves. We'll be tapping ourselves that we met up at this first half to hit that. It's not easy. We have a lot, more than 500,000 or million followers on our YouTube and other social media platforms. But YouTube has been very critical because we talk deep stuffs like this that are educating. If we were entertaining and just talking about this blah blah blah, like these games, oh my God, would have been hitting billions of viewers out here. But we are good and we're fine and we're loving ourselves. The most important thing, we leave the Pan-African Daily feeling that we have contributed to build the Africa that we want. Everybody has put his input in this conversation and has moved it forward. That's the most important action that we do here. So you bring the concept, everybody get engaged on board, everybody contribute. So like we say, there's some people that will bring the idea like you do, but there will be some people that will put their money, and there will be some people that will do the work. That's how we function here, right? So we're not like somebody has to come and pay us some commercials and you talk about your spot and things. No, we're bringing only things that build us, that all of us are a part of it. We're not a commercial spot. You don't see us break to showcase anything. Maybe we'll come to that when we start building African brands like this and promoting it for ourselves. But right now, we have to build. We have a diaspora to build. We have ourselves, the broken past to heal and to connect back our roots and to love one another, to unite and to build the Africa that we want. That is our objective. That is our mission. That is our goal. And that's the legacy we want to leave. So I want to give all of you a chance to say the last words before we round up to meet again next week. Mr. Flanders, you are our exclusive for tonight. We're seeing your face for the first time, but it's not going to be the last time. So what do you have to round up tonight?
Well, first of all, thank you all so much for being on. For those of you who stayed on to the end, thank you for being there and sharing your comments. And there will be opportunity to further advance the concepts that we share here today. Empire Dreams, from talking with Prescod, Empire Dreams is something for the world. It belongs to the world. It belongs to each and every one of you. We are just the ones who have the initial concept and looking to put it out there and frame it and direct it to the point where it's going to evolve and grow. So we are excited, we are committed, and we look forward to each and every one of your success and for the success of this vision that we shared here today. So right back onto you.
Thank you, Damian.
As I say, it was nice again to be back on the show, Susan, and the energy and is like sleepless nights, because since I've been on the show and just studying how everything just started to unveil itself and stuff, it just have me at cloud nine right now, and the energy from your viewers and stuff, everything just happening and it just coming to pass. So I just want to thank everybody who is watching on the African continent and people around the world, and to you, Susan, and just thanks for the support, and we're going to make this happen. And I just don't want people to give up hope, because hey, hope is the only thing that we have that comes from deep within, and hope is being conscious. Hope is never losing sight of the goal, even when darkness prevails, because at the end of the day, is our dreams is that keep us alive. You understand? So we just have to just trust God that He will create the way for us, and unity is strength and strength is power. That's it.
Thank you, Ashe.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And I want to thank our viewers and the comments. Oh my God, I couldn't even, we could not even bring some of them. Just a lot of comments. Probably when you sit down and relax, when I share the video or when the team shares it with you, that you go through it again, comments if there are very important things that you need to address or to write back. I think you can directly respond to the comments, or you just already look at the kind of things that maybe could help you again expand on the vision and look at it differently and build another profile. What I posted on our timeline tonight or today, and it's really trending, is if you are African and you want to be the next set of billionaires, invest in Pan-Africanism, invest in Afro consciousness, invest in the unity of Africans worldwide. You're going to be the next billionaire. Why? Because Africans are getting awake and they're getting conscious. They know who they are and they know what they want. And the future is going to be those Africans that would only consume what they want. They will put their money exactly where their mouth is. So if you're looking to invest in any venture, as an African, it's past. It's going to be bad market. I say it very right. I'm not against any order, but I'm really faithful to mine. Okay, so gone as those days. I keep telling China and the others, your brand is going to be bad business in Africa. Now the Africans are waking up. The young people are getting on board. They are creative and innovative, and they're bringing something to the table. So if you're looking forward to be that kind of an entrepreneur or a business person, and you're looking for ventures to invest, one like this one is something that is definitely a must. But of course, the Pan-African Daily TV, of course, is also a venture that we connect and unite ourselves. So don't build brands that we think that very soon we're not going to be wearing any foreign fabrics. I know it. Even to eat out of our own, sector, we wouldn't do it, because the movement is already on and the fire is catching. So put your money where your mouth is as an African. Invest in the unity and Pan-Africanism of Africans and one Africa for Africans worldwide. So I want to thank you so much. I bless you and your families and this great vision. We're going to make sure that it works. Why? Because you have brought it with a passion. And like we said, we have to do one new thing. We must do something this year for the continent to connect us globally. Even if it is just that goat jumping thing or memories of the past, We're going to set up a way that we can start already connecting the simple things that unite us more and bring our childhood sweet, sweet memories together. So that will be the start. And we will integrate sport and all the disciplines that you're saying. Now, you see, to get the viewing, to get the public, we have to start with things that of the past that make us laugh. And you see, the audience is already there. And any other venture will just be a must-have on it, right? We won't have to struggle to communicate and every other thing. So thank you all. We see ourselves tomorrow. We're going to talk about a very important topic that we've been ignoring. There are a lot of Africans, particularly from the continent, that are stuck in Libya for years. And actually, the international press, some of them have reported on top upon this issue, like the slave trade that is going on. Actually, Africans in the Libya are being sold for money as we speak. We see thousands of them in the street, and we reach out to the to young people out there and ask a lot of questions. What are you doing there on the street? And they say, we are stuck. I say, why are you stuck? You have a home, you have Africa, you have your homes. Why can't you go back? And so the situation is like they can't even go back. That's the worst scenario that could happen. They are stuck in a way that they can move forward. If they had a dream of crossing over Libya to west or whatever, they're stuck now. So they can't move forward and they can't even move backward. And thousands of them, women and children, are sleeping on the street. We want to reach out to this community and find out how is it that it's possible that they can make a living, or how is it that they can just go back? What possibilities? How can we contribute to empower them to not see just the hole that they are stuck in? And most of them are dying and sleeping on the street. What is more better? Your home, your people, or being in a country where you don't even understand anything and you're sleeping on mattresses on the floor? Who does that in the 21st century apart from the Africans? Who does that? So tomorrow, we have that community out there. Most of them, they are not even able to connect on their handies, but we're trying to set up some kind of way, even people out of the community that are supporting on the continent, to speak on their behalf. It is a tragic situation, but you know what? Only you and me can address and solve it. Nobody is going to do that. Nobody cares. We have to do it. We have to fix it. And that's part of building the nation and Africans worldwide. So I look forward to having you really tune in tomorrow, and let's see what is happening. Let's try and figure out how we can bring solutions, because you all know we're about building a nation. We're not about entertaining. It means we look for challenges and then we bring our own solutions that we think could address these challenges. Even if it's going to save just a life, we must have done something very useful. So I look forward to having you tomorrow on that conversation, and all of you tuning in and signing in at the same time. We see us tomorrow. And good night to all of you, my dear, wonderful team out here. Tuku pamoja, and we say good night to all of you. Bye-bye. Thank you, Flanders. Thank you, Damian. It's been a wonderful time. We see us next week. Good night. Or good morning, or good afternoon.
You are watching the Pan-African Daily TV with Dr. Susan Tata. The Africa we want. Unity, consciousness, our culture, our spirituality, our history. One Africa for Africans worldwide. Motherlands calling its diaspora home. Join my voice. Join my team. Join my campaign. Campaign 21 hashtag 1 million subscribers on the Pan-African Daily TV YouTube. Be a volunteer. Apply now. Be the new Africa.